What I like best about Grand Bay is walking through the pine forest, and you kind of open up into this beautiful coastal marsh. That whole landscape just brings a peacefulness to me and to whoever I bring down here to visit that is just unimaginable. Grand Bay is one of my favorite places in Alabama.
That intersection where those freshwater systems start to mix with salt water, it's a very, very biologically rich area. The bay itself is important for wintering waterfowl coming from all the way from Canada, all the way through the flyway down to Grand Bay. And also what's most critically important about it is that is a true nursery for much of the seafood that Alabama produces and Mississippi produces.
Biola Battery has traditionally been the capital, seafood capital of Alabama. People like oysters and shrimp and fish, and so it's a huge part of the economy of the state.
The wet pine savannas that typify the Grand Bay area are one of the most productive and diverse systems that we have in the state of Alabama. There are more than 73 protected species that are actually found in this area alone.
If you look across the southern U.S., most of our wet pine savanna and coastal grasslands have been lost. The Grand Bay Savanna Complex is about 3% of what's left across the Gulf Coast. So trying to figure out a way to protect this place is really, really important. It's a very, very special place.
Several properties were acquired recently through the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation under the Gulf Environmental Benefit Fund. We bought puzzle fit pieces that will add over 2,400 acres to the state's already 6,500 acre ownership.
In Grand Bay, what we're celebrating is the fact that we've been able to bring folks from the federal agencies, state agencies, private organizations together to protect one of the last great places on Mississippi Sound.
What you are doing today and what we are celebrating today is an example for all Alabamians to follow. This area is crucial to the commercial and sport fishing, but it's also crucial to those of us who just love to eat good seafood. This newly conserved area also provides an irreplaceable buffer against tropical storms, hurricanes, and rising sea levels. And goodness knows in the last month, we've had a taste of all of that.
With the addition of this piece of property, along with the Grand Bay National Wildlife Refuge, that puts about 26,000 acres under public protection. We will have the ability to allow public access so that people can enjoy this property, can enjoy the resources that surround it, and at the same time protect it and steward that for future generations.
The great thing about this Grand Bay project is it is being added to the Grand Bay Savanna Preserve, which the state manages through the Forever Wild Land Trust. And that opens these lands up to public recreation. There may be trails in the future, there's certainly going to be hunting in the future, there'll be fishing and public access, and so these lands will not go unused.
We really have a pretty simple strategy. It's a three-prong approach. First is that we're celebrating here today is to protect some of those big last remaining places of coastline in Alabama. Second is trying to work in our upland systems there along the coast and those wet pine savannas, and even lifting up a little bit into the longleaf pine systems to make sure that these areas are thinned and opened and burned so that they have that open pine forest effect that we want. And lastly is working in the water. We're trying to build oyster reefs and do near-shore reef restoration to try and reduce the impacts of wave erosion to our shorelines and mitigate against sea level rise to try and protect our local communities on Alabama's Gulf Coast.
So we can bring communities, economies, and the environment together in a very positive way, and I think the Grand Bay area exemplifies that.